of GSL. He didn't make it far on IEM Katowice. He didn't go to Aces, he did go to Aces Rock, but it's again just like a group stage or first round playoff performance there. You know, Zest has not really had the year we expect Zest to have. He's at Pink Protoss, bottom right hand side. He has not had the year we expect Zest to have at all. So let's see what he can do here. Still nice to see him playing in some of these online cups as well, of course. Zest is always one of these players who plays in these... most of the time, if he doesn't have much else going on, he will usually play in these online cups as well, so it's always nice to be able to keep track of him. And always fun to see him against some players we don't usually get to see him playing against, which includes Clem, our Blue Terran player to the top left-hand side. Now, I'd almost wager a bet that Zest and Clem have probably not played each other before. If they have, it's going to be very limited. I'm going to do a quick check. Maybe one time maximum. Okay, they've played each other twice, and it was at the same tournament. It was at... sorry. No, it wasn't. It was Home Story Cups, one after the other. Home Story Cup 17, group stage. Zest 2-0, Home Story Cup 18, group stage. Clem 2-0. So, they're actually 2-2 in maps over time, as we do get this one going. What's up, Clarkovich? Thank you so much for the 2-month resub in a row as well. SE2 baby, Wardy style. That's how we do it here. Thank you so much for the 2 months resubscribing. Much appreciated. As we kick off into game number 1 of this best of 3. Command Center dropping down the front. Nexus dropping down on the front as well. So we're going to have an early expansion on both sides already. You'll see this SCV dropping down the depot here. And the barracks is going to be... dropping a Reaper into play. So Reaper's going to be on the way up. Nexus is going to be starting as well. And we just do look to see what indeed the plays will be here in the next couple of minutes. We do see the first Reaper coming down the map. I've got to get myself out of balanced test mod mode because we've been casting matches on the balanced test mod over the weekend for a different tournament. So this is kind of weird for me coming back into the current day patch and not thinking about, even just kind of saying, you know, not saying, hey guys, something weird might happen, which is what I said a lot over the last couple of days when not really knowing what we might see. Love this turnaround with the Reaper. And, ooh, love the probes. That was very nearly a probe denial of the Reaper into the main. Now, this Reaper did take a nibble from the probes while not going down. It means it's low. Oh my god, the Adept doesn't catch it. So the Reaper's now regenerating. You can see this probe over here. He dodges it, and this is really good Reaper play, honestly, as we see. He's still regenerating, and the Adept actually is shading to the mineral line. The Stalker gets a hit. Really good play with the Reaper. He does get to see the Twilight Council dropping down, so Clem gets a full scout. As we do have the Reaper just out over on the left. Wouldn't mind on the way up. Starport coming in as well, and the second barracks will also start. So, the second rack's up and running. Twilight Council about to complete, and it is just going to be a straight up, very regular blink opener here in this first game. Just a quick reminder, so this is WardiTV Invitational number 9. Group D of this takes place tomorrow, by the way, and we got a stacked group: Solar Bunny, Hurricane, and of course, Vanya. It's going to be a bit of mayhem mixed in with those Korean players. And we also have the playoffs on Wednesday, and that should take you fully in terms of StarCraft action. It should keep you guys busy up until WCS Global Finals begins on Thursday, of course. So we'll see you guys in the Twitch chat for that one. But yeah, we're just keeping you guys busy with all the content we can up until Global Finals starts, because I know how tough this time of year is. There's not a lot of tournaments on, there's not too much to watch, and that's what we're trying to fix a little bit. Reaper going to be turned away over the left-hand side. Thank you very much, by the way, Killer Bunnies, for the Twitch Prime for 6 months. Thank you very much, appreciate it. Thank you for the support. There's 2 wooden mines in this medevac. Will go around the right-hand side, so they're going to be looking to unload in the main shortly. Obviously, this is a very straight-up standard opener from Clem. The next real decision becomes, as a third barracks comes down, is it a third CC, or is it going to be 2 more barracks again? Are you going to see like barracks number 4 and number 5? And is he really going to commit to 2 base aggression in that case? And as we do see this medevac flies in, it'll be targeted down. Well, medevac eventually does go down. The second Widow Mine, nothing was done about it, so 4 probes are killed. And overall, that's actually not so bad. The only downside to this for Clem was that it was a pretty quick cleanup, and so there wasn't much delaying of mining. So Zest pulled probes away, but they got back to mining almost instantly there. without too much of a delay. Stalkers up through the watchtower and going to be heading into the top side. A little bit of Marine Marauder coming down and just having a little bit of a chase after those Stalkers there. So the Marauders, you can kind of do this. You can see Zest trying to prioritize the Marauder, which does the most damage to the Stalkers because of the armor tag the Stalkers have. The Stalker's going to come back up and then might catch a Widowmine or two here. Clem turns that around. Nice lift up because you know that's exactly what Zest wants to target. This will be interesting. Stalkers actually on cooldown, so you can actually target fire down some of the lower ones. They couldn't blink away there. That is Clem picking up a couple of kills on the other side of the map. There's going to be, I think, a Reaper maybe came back in. Oh no, maybe another. No, that was Widowmine. That was. I think the Reaper came back in to kill a couple workers. As Clem will eventually lift up and go towards the main. Now these Stalkers are on the map and they haven't stopped this army from getting to the main, which means that actually it's kind of tough to stop this from happening. But you see those couple Stalkers there. That's enough to scare Clem away. And actually, Clem would not have been badly done by kind of just dropping on top of those. But of course he doesn't know that and didn't have the energy to drop the scan to identify it. So Clem plays it safe and instead will just pick off this pylon as another pylon. We'll drop down and repower those structures as well. Clem escaping away over the right hand side. 5 Stalkers here going up the right as well. Third CC from Clem dropping down. And there's Medevac with 2 Widowmines heading over the left hand side as well. So they'll continue over the left. The Forge in the main base on the way up as well. And again, combat shields, concussive shells, and +1 armor. All currently on the way out as Medevac and bio units coming down the bottom side. Gonna stem in here and already going to have a couple of Stalkers going down. It's actually a nice trade for Clem. If he gets this Immortal especially, it's a really nice pick-off. He's going to be able to get a lot of units here. So this was just Zest being a little bit out of position, a bit too far forwards. I mean, his next round of Zealots come in. Obviously, they do have charge, but they're just move commanding. Mistake from Zest, who is going to, what, clean up those Widowmines? The problem is you clean up Widowmines, that's just an expectation, you know? You're meant to clean up Widowmines before they fire again. So it's not like he's like, oh yeah, nice clean out, and now he's going to lose the Immortal. And Clem is just breaking Zest down at the moment. So Zest is having some real difficulties here. This bio army back up into the center of the map. SCV is mining away in the third base as well. And, well, 3 bases each. Zest going to a 4th, though. And for the moment, he's held on. But definitely good damage from Clem, and absolutely should be looking to capitalize on that a little bit. If I was Clem right now, I'd be looking to set up another drop to the main base, while maybe also just looking towards, you know, another push down the center, because especially when you've shut down the Immortals, you've taken away some of the real buffer of that army that's really strong and solid. As do have our Liberator is going to be coming into the main base here in a moment or two. Bio stimming down the bottom side. Stalkers are going to be turned away. One Stalker picked off already. There goes the 2 Widowmines burrowing up. So they are going to get burrowed pretty quickly here as well. 2 probes getting picked off. 3 probes going down as this Liberator is going to be picking away some extra workers as well. Zealots, Immortals, and Stalkers push up this ramp to again turn this around. Tell you what, Clem's got a lot of Marauders and not many Marines, so the Immortals will actually have a field day against this Marauder-based army. And he's just lost 13 probes, though, to these Liberators, and that's so much economic damage taken here by Zest. 1 Widowmine, 2 Widowmines go off. They don't really hit amazingly well. As we see, Zest is able to clean those out, and it really just comes down to Zest's control of the army at this point, because he needs something magnificent to control well enough and to trade well enough to make up for, you know, the position he's in, plus the fact he just lost workers on top of that as well. Now we see 2-2 upgrades starting up from Clem. Enhanced Shockwaves coming in on the Ghost Academy too. Bio down left, Zealots, Stalkers coming in, quick to respond against these Marauders. The Marauders continue to take some damage. Just going to see the Marauders pulling back up the left side, and, well, Medevac is going to be unloading here in the main base. A couple of pylons will go down. This army moving around, as we're going to see Nexus bottom left going to be just, well, nuked. Too much bio here, so Zest will lose a 4th, and this is the problem when Clem gets the momentum early. He's going to be able to keep pulling you apart from one side to the other. And there's just no real way to kind of put your foot in the ground and steady yourself against this onslaught of Terran drops. And that's the real issue here, because, you know, once you start dealing damage, you just keep dealing damage. Clem put himself in a great spot. And this is after a weekend of Clem really struggling in TVP. We saw him struggling against Gung Fu Bandit, we saw him struggling against Harston. Yes, on the balanced test mod, but in games that weren't really decided by many of the changes that we see in the balanced test mod. So, really cool to see him coming out of the gate swinging here against Zest. Remember, their history against each other is one best of 3 win each for these guys. 2-0 on either side, so like I said, it's not really a series that you see every day. And it's very cool to be able to get that now, as we do have this Bio Army heading down the bottom. Probes transferring along, Zealots are going to start charging forwards then. Widowmines are going to go off, picking off a good few Zealots. Good EMP as well, lands on a bunch more Zealots in the front. And just kiting backwards here, you'll see a couple of Immortals going down. These Immortals actually getting slowed by the concussive shells, couldn't get in range. That's why you need that Zealot front line. Over in the main base, the Bio dropping down. Tell you what is going to be a big difference. Up until now, Zest had an armor advantage, but now 2-2's kicked in from Clem. That armor advantage wasn't there for a couple of moments, so that was maybe Clem's opportunity to take a larger fight. I do feel like upgrades have had a big role in keeping Zest alive here, because there was a while where, I mean, he forgot his +2 attack upgrade, but there was a while he had +2 armor against, like, a not even started 2-2 of Clem. Now he's going to have +3 armor against +3 start in his own +2 attack upgrade coming in as well. There's Ghost out of energy, which is obviously one of the big ways of dealing with the shields on this army. And there's one more Ghost showing up though, and the Enhanced Shockwave EMP shell is large enough to make that significant. Zealots will keep streaming through, will keep on trying to fight, but eventually Clem has just cleaned Zest out and is just going to be able to take this down and take this game number 1. This is again best of 3 for our first 2 series of the day, so Clem will go up 1-0 and will be on match point already. He just rolled over to the pressure. Just rolled over and couldn't really handle it. As in the top left-hand side, taking the series lead, up 1-0. Here's our blue Terran player, Clem. Going up against the pink Protoss player. On the bottom right-hand side, Zest. Again, if you're tuned in from the front page today, well, hello, welcome. This is the wonderful world of StarCraft 2. I'm Wardy, and through WardiTV, I organize regular competitive StarCraft events to help kind of bridge the gaps between our major tournaments, our major LAN events, etc. So we do a lot of online tournaments. We cast pretty much we cast most days of the week usually. And we provide coverage for qualifiers, etc. too, so hello, welcome, and if you're enjoying, come say hello and chat. We're a friendly bunch of people. Come say hi and let me know what's up, let me know what's going on. Don't forget, if you do enjoy what you're hearing, I do more of this pretty regularly. Hit that follow button. As you do see, a couple of probes on the way out. Barracks dropping down over here. Okay, we drops down and just going to see the Cybernetics Core patrolling. Oh, probe patrolling before going Cybernetics Core before the Nexus. So this is already a pretty aggressive opening here from Zest. Obviously, Cybercore before Expand means you will be able to get an early unit out and across the map pretty early on. Just going to see that Nexus dropping in there. As we... What is that? The 200... Did I read that right? Oh my god. You know when you think you misread something and you don't? Gurney with the $200 donation. Thank you so much. Can we get some hype in the chat for that? That is actually incredible. We are putting the donations of the stream for the next couple of days and for the last few days into funding this tournament, because this was a bit of a bonus tournament out of nowhere, and I kind of took some money out of my own kind of personal pocket rather than the kind of the tournament fund we had for WardiTV to put this on. That is out of nowhere, just $200. Can we get some hype and some love in the chat for that? Thank you so much. Wow, Gurney. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much. As our Reaper comes in from Clem. Do you see? Let me escaping away the left-hand side. Yeah, thank you so much, Gurney. Dude, I feel like I remember your name from way back when, almost. From like back in the old days, I feel. But maybe I don't even know. Your name's familiar to me. Thank you so much for the $200 donation. I really appreciate it, buddy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we'll just watch this Reaper. Moving around, Adept and Stalker obviously covering nicely at the front, stopping this Reaper from getting in towards the main and natural, so denying any scouting info. Blink coming in on the Twilight Council. Again, this ready to roll as the barracks drops down up in the main base. Clem is staying pretty true to what he did in game number 1. Just 1-1-1, Widowmine drop, enter into barracks number 2 and number 3. Pretty early on. About the front as well. Another facility going to come up after that blink, so actually just kind of a repeat of game number 1. We'll see what the Widowmine drop gets done this time around, coming over to the right side. Drop in towards that natural mineral line in the next couple of moments. Stalkers here from Zest hanging around on the top of the natural. Widowmines are waiting, going into the natural. Oh, that's dangerous. He loses the medevac. Even better defense this time around from Zest than in game number 1. And this time it's kind of funny. Zest was in position in the main base in game 1, and in game number 2 he's in position in the natural, and both times he catches Clem's drop just real quick. I mean, this time was even better than the last. I mean, this time a Widowmine didn't even get to unburrow. This time, though, we have a second medevac coming around, and now Zest has moved onto the map. There is a pylon here which will spot this medevac coming in the bottom side, but the Stalker's out of position, so you're only going to have warp-in Stalkers, which means these Widowmines are likely to at least get a connection on 1 or 2 probes at least. Let's see if Zest is responding. Looks like he's not paying attention to his minimap, and Zest is going to lose a mineral line for 8 probes, 4 from each Widowmine there. Zest loses quite a lot of workers as now. When he's got Stalkers at the front, he's going to end up recalling home, interestingly. Recalls onto the bottom 3rd base. I kind of felt like that was maybe a time for him to poke and prod a bit, but I guess with the bunker up, there's not much you can do. Simply because, I mean, obviously 2 medevacs have been built for this, 4 Widowmines now. It should mean less at home to help defend, but yeah, there's a pretty sizable bio army, so just recalls the Stalkers back home, and Zest not exactly having the best of PvT series at the moment. Not having the best of series at all just yet. As we do have the Stalkers continuing out to the top left-hand side. Bio from Clem will come along, and Stalkers already blinking away, coming down back through the middle of the map. 1-1 upgrades dropping by. Charge upgrade about to finish on the Twilight Council. You see a couple of Marines picked off there. Again, these Stalkers doing a good job of just picking off, poking, prodding, trying to slow down this bio army wherever possible. Down the left-hand side. Looking to push in towards the Nexus over here. Zealots, a Sentry, and Immortal. The problem is there's not enough to defend here right now. You need the extra couple of units, and that Warpin is going to be pretty important as well. A couple of Widowmines going to go off on Zealots on the right-hand side. Widowmine in the front is super low HP. Just about surviving, though, for the moment. Stalker's blinking back as the bio. Still pressing forwards behind this. Clem taking the 3rd base. I mean, it just feels like Zest is struggling to get the units out that he needs. Remember, he is 1-1 against just +1 at the moment, so that helps a lot. Stalkers around the left going to go and try to pick off a medevac. Doesn't quite get there just yet, though. As you're seeing Clem pressing forwards. Pylon taking some damage. Zealots go running into this, and I mean, that's going to be all the Widowmines going off, and well, they've done their job, right? They've cleaned out the Zealots, and now these Immortals just have nothing to protect them at all. Clem is just all over the place. Stalker's coming in from the backside, but what does it matter? You've already lost your Immortals, and again, that's one of the big buffers of this army, one of the big damage dealers that's just gone, just like that. Zest is trying to blink Stalkers back away over to the left. He's going to recall those Stalkers down to the 3rd Nexus, but again, now it's just pure Zealot Stalker. well, that's not a terrible thing to have. It's just not really what you want in these kind of numbers. In kind of a scrappy game like this, like Zealot Stalk is good when you're taking the initiative, you're massing up units, etc. It's going to fade off a lot, and generally you want to start adding Immortals in, which is what Zest was doing, but having lost those Immortals really weakens this army comp now as Bio, Mine, Liberator. Pressing down here, Liberator is going to siege up, and Stalkers will be able to take the Liberator down. Couple probes going off, Zealots being blown up by Widow Mines yet again as Zest blinks in, trying to deny those medevacs, which will just come about into the center again. This was a bit of a better defense from Zest. All of a sudden, he's actually cleaned up a lot of units, and that's really good for him. So Zest able to clean up a good amount of units, and Clem, even workers. That's one of the things he hasn't done this game. He hasn't really killed a lot of probes or anything. He's not been able to he hasn't really dropped around, right? And I think that's the one way. I mean, he tried to drop into the natural, but in general, this map is a bit less droppable than Triton. You know, when Zest is defending 1, 2, 3 bases on Triton, you've got to go from over here, a drop can, boom, hit you in the main. But because the 3 bases here are 1, 2, 3 in a triangle shape, the main base isn't really a drop threat, so you can pay a lot more attention just to sort of, you know, hanging around and dealing with sort of aggression, you know, on the third, on the natural. Drops there are much easier to deal with, and once those drops are easier to deal with, the main is safe. It's just easier to shut down. So the map having a role to play here. Zest going to 4 bases, that will be the moment where, you know, Clem once again finds an opportunity to open up into, you know, bio drop aggression. But now Zest, this game as well, he did remember his +2 attack upgrade, so he's going to be 2-2 against 1-1, and for a good period of time as well. Look how slow the 2-2 from Clem is in comparison. That's because he opens 1 engineering bay to go hyper-aggressive like he was doing. So by going 1 engineering bay, you get more units out, you get aggressive, but you do fall behind in upgrades over time. It worked out fine in game number 1 because Clem was able to do enough damage. Whether he's been able to do enough damage here this time around, well, that is what we're looking to see over the next couple of minutes now. A lot of bio here between the natural and the third. Zealot will pick off a Marine, and this Marine of Clem just moving out as well. Obviously, it's this scenario where you just want to run backwards, forwards, and just really look around the map, open up the map a little bit, and just keep a lot of vision going as the Wall Prism from Zest on the way out on the natural expansion. 5 probes, 12 probes drop to a Widow Mine drop. That's in the 4th base. Sorry, it's sometimes a bit hard to catch those. I don't think Clem can make a big push happen, not until he hits 2-2. And I mean, when he hits 2-2, he'll have Ghost Whiffing and Shockwaves as well, so that'll be a bit better for him in general. Hey, those Widow Mines go off, they don't... Ooh, splashed onto an Observer. That's actually a nice catch. A little bit fortunate for Clem, or unfortunate for Zest, depends on which side of this you want to look at. As we do just have the Bio Clem still looking to try and push down to the bottom. EMP drops down, Stalkers take some damage, and, well, it's about trying to kind of bait out those EMPs almost and minimize the effect of those. There's just so many Zealots here for Zest, and that is, again, worth keeping in mind that this is a very Zealot-heavy army, so over time, you're expecting this army of Zest to become a lot worse because it is just mass gamer units. Great blink, knew that medevac lift was coming and took full advantage of it. Blinking in, full medevac of units, goes down the second it lifts up. Clem not starting +3 upgrades yet, so keep your eyes on that because that's going to be very soon. The Zest upgrade advantage once again. Widow Mines, oh my god, the splash on those Zealots is disgusting. They do so much. The Widow Mines just fire in, and I mean, the Zealots were clumped up. Zest is not kind of splitting units up or running a couple units away here and there to try and minimize that damage, and that's why those Zealots all fall into autumn colors. Red, orange, and yellow across the health bars. Couple more probes down around the map. 3 feels like a Liberator somewhere. There it is, bottom left-hand corner. So 3 probes go down. Zealots are still pressing into this. Stalkers looking away, helping for Widow Mine. Couple more Widow Mines on top of the ramp, and EMP as well. I feel like that EMP came in just after the Widow Mines hit, though, so unfortunately the shields were already gone. It didn't really do much. Clem is maxed out against Zest, though, who is, I guess, the biggest issue. The work account. Look at that income difference. Zest only on 57 probes, and Clem over time has just mined so much more. In a composition now where, you know, Clem should be trading evenly, if not better, over time because of just how weak this army composition of Zest is. Now, DTs are going to be on the way up, and that might be a change of pace. Not only is it going to be a change of pace in terms of harassment Zest can apply, but you can also even maybe add a couple of Archons into play. by adding a couple of Archons into play, that could go pretty well also. As we do see this Bio Army down the left, Stalkers from Zest, War Prism, and Zealots all up to the top. We're actually going to see a little bit of a base trade coming down. Now, this is not a bad thing for Zest, because in the base trade scenario, you can shut down orbitals and he can force a lack of scans against DTs, although there are ghosts and EMPs to detect. Remember, Zest can maybe pick off a base or two and then recall home to defend. If he can defend, he is way down on army supply. Those DTs. That's a nice EMP up here, although you have to scan anyways for the other one. Well, Clem loses a third base. He's going to be losing the natural in the next few moments. The problem is Clem is still just cleaning out the bottom left-hand side, so he's denied a fifth and a fourth. Zest still has main natural and third up and running, although not a lot he's really going to do to defend it, but it does mean he's picked off the natural. And now he's going to recall, and he is going to recall into the third, so Zealots come forwards first. Widowmine doesn't go off there. The Ghosts do have EMPs available again. I just think Zest is going to really struggle to fight this army. And that's the biggest issue. How do you fight this? I mean, probes are now going to try and pull into this as well. He's got an army coming in from the top side too, just units that were left behind on the recall. An extra wave of Zealots could go a long way. There's no EMP energy left. Stalkers from the top, couple of sentries could force field these units and stop them from retreating. Remember, if you force field, you can basically force the medevacs to lift up. When the Stalkers then could blink on top, they're going to get one of the medevacs with units inside. The Ghosts go down as well. Clem loses a lot. He's got a lot of units in the main base, however, and he does have a CC to replace the third base location, so he's going to be on 3 bases as well as Zest. And he does have a fresher base because the fourth never went down. Zest is going to try and stay aggressive, down 25 workers. He doesn't really want to try and let this get back to macro and building up, but it's going to be difficult. There's a Ghost with an EMP. The most important thing, I think, is going to be these Liberators, of course. A couple of Liberators can go a long way just to zone out this Protoss army, which is going to make a play for the fourth base. So actually, this could be really nice for Zest. He will get it very quickly, very effectively. Doesn't take a lot of damage in doing so. 18 workers down. A DT is currently chasing around this army. I mean, there's only one EMP available, and there's only, what, one orbital up on the map? So actually, this is the point where DTs become extremely frustrating and consistently annoying. As 3-3 upgrades are in play for both players here, we're really seeing a bit of an epic PvT, actually. And we've seen a few more Marauders going down the right side. That DT still in play. Again, the scans are limited to the one scan you have coming up every 50 energy on the main base. This is about to be finished morphing into an orbital. That will change this up a bit. You can see Clem scans to see if Zest has a base mining, because it's like, how do you have so much at the moment? It's kind of crazy, actually. I'm surprised as well that Zest is able to do so much with this army so far. He's got a DT and a mineral line again. There goes one of the scans. I feel like if you just keep putting DTs into play, though, morph in a few more DTs, and I really believe that they're going to be able to keep shutting this down, right? This DT here, and amongst the army, there's going to be a scan. There is a couple of ghosts. This is really important that Clem was able to get a couple of extra ghosts out, actually, because that means you can EMP those DTs down, which is just a little bit more reliable than having to wait on the scan all the time. It's just an extra way in case you don't constantly have the scan energy. Cats and ghosts to start this fight. Costs him a sentry or so. Zest, War Prism, obviously huge to keep reinforcing this. He's going to go for this orbital command, by the way, as we see a DT is already kind of slicing away some units. I mean, there's just no AMPs. There's actually just no way to currently see Dark Templar. So the DT is currently having a great time, although it might get blown up in splash damage. Nope, it's going to go in. Okay, it does go down to splash damage in the end. But all the Widow Mines just got cleaned out of Clem. And Zest is still on the offensive, still making this happen. You're going to see the Bio will try and stim. Problem is, it's mostly Marauders, and the two Immortals still alive from Zest are going to be able to clip those Marauders down. Oh my god, it looked like Clem had this game and this series on lockdown, but no, apparently not. First Immortal there drops, the Stalkers will blink in. A couple of Marauders continue to be shut down as well. Clem will type out GG as Zest. See what will happen. We start in the bottom right-hand side with our red Terran player. Give it up if you're cheering on Clem. He's going to be taking on the pink Protoss in the top left, Zest. And these two have given us a really excellent series, actually, to start the day already. Really excellent series so far here, so don't think we can be too unhappy with how this has started, and we're going to be seeing, well, Gateway coming up. Wait to see what happens in the early stages of game number 3 now. Can't believe Zest turned that last one around, though. It felt like Clem had just done enough once again, had that large army, but Zest's efficiency in the last 5-ish minutes of that game was really impressive. It was really, really impressive. Can't really stress that enough, actually. Great games. Great stuff so far. As we do go into game number 3. Stages here. You just see Cybernex Core is on its way up in that main base, getting that up and running, and SCV is going to be moving out into the middle of the map. Command Center, factory on the way up, reactor dropping down as well. Just we seeing the game continues to build for the moment or two, and look to see what's going to happen. Stargate is about halfway along, and the Reaper doing a little bit of damage to the Adept there, so a bit of damage done. Command Center dropping down on that natural, and the factory is going to come over, and that's going to be a nice little swap. Factory going to go down on the reactor. Barracks going to go up just to the top a little bit as well, and 2 Hellions will start to produce. So 2 Hellions on the way out. Going to see our starport proxied here from Clem. So he's going to change this aggression up a little bit. Obviously the Hellions are something we haven't seen before, and he's also different from Zest, going into the Stargate and the Oracle this time rather than going into what we have been seeing as the Blink opener 2 games in a row up until this point. So Zest and Clem both changing this. Now, Stargate's very good against early game aggression because Oracle obviously can deal with things that don't really shoot up, like this Hellion run by, if it's in position. Phoenix can obviously shoot down a lot of early game units such as Medivacs and so on. They can chase those, and even just being able to lift a Widow Mine or being able to lift Hellions away from dealing damage is kind of a big deal. So let's see what happens. Obviously this proxy starboard, it's timed out in such a way that the Hellions get across the map and then the Medivac pops. So let's see, as the Medivac is about to come out here in a moment or two, the Hellions will be ready to jump into that momentarily, and here we go into the main base. Like I say, the Phoenix can lift up one of these Hellions. The Oracle can maybe go after the rest of them as well. I think the Oracle does have to commit. Okay, the Phoenix lift up 2. The Oracle doesn't activate its energy for quite a while here. Zest will lose 3 probes, but honestly, considering the circumstances, I feel like you can't really be upset with only 4 probes lost, because it feels like Zest made some mistakes here earlier. I mean, here now, this is actually adding up a little bit. 7 workers somehow even got that final connection. Medivac went down. The follow-up is going to be a Viking, but I'm not sure what a Viking will do if these 3 Phoenix will find it. Now the Phoenix are going to see the starboard. They do see the Viking, and they know it. This Viking is pretty much dead. He will land to force a lift. I mean, it's nice, right? 50 energy, better than nothing. So it takes away some of that resources. The Phoenix will chase the starboard back across the map. Problem is the Cyclone can't just go running over there to try and save the day either, because, you know, 1 Phoenix lift and that Cyclone is just DAAD as well. So there's nothing he can really do about it. There's 2 extra barracks coming up from Clem. 3rd CC, and I think he's kind of right to go into like a faster 3rd and just build up this game. The Hellion pressure is a little bit more committed in terms of minerals than Widowmine drops, so the barracks come up a bit later. So going into the 3rd CC a little bit faster, it makes sense because there's less likelihood with a later stim, etc., that you're going to get damage done like you did in game number 1 and 2. Already rebuilding the starport as well. This will go down. There's just no way with multiple Phoenix on the map. Zest will continue to use these moving around over the next little while. So there's a few Phoenix going to come over. As they fly into the main, they're going to find a couple SCVs, and this is where the harassment begins. Obviously, Phoenix, I mean, they're such a great unit to build into, right? They're so good against this early aggression, and they can be very good offensively on their own. Very good harassing, very good at just being a little bit annoying. As this Phoenix hanging out up on the top side. Next is on the 3rd base, coming up and mining away, and 7 more gateways from Zest. So, I mean, he's only on 1 gate until now, so in a way, this is actually just him going up to 8 gates, which on 3 bases is a very reasonable number. It's just when you see 7 gateways at once, Todd would say, l'explosion de gateway. The gateway explosion. As it looks as though Our players are ready to resume from a quick pause. We jump into, or return into game number 3. It's a nice find on that Widow Mine there. It was barely burrowed, able to lift it up because your SCVs again, this is what's so annoying, right? You're just losing a couple SCVs here and then one there, and it just slows you down so much as the Terran player when these Phoenix are played well. I mean, he's dropping a missile turret now, which you could have argued maybe should have come in a little while ago. There's a Widow Mine there, but it hits one of the Phoenix. If it targets the Oracle, it gets an insta-kill on the Oracle, and then will still splash the rest of the Phoenix. Hitting the Phoenix is obviously just not great because you don't guarantee kill anything. And yes, it's nice to get some splashdown. That Phoenix is, yes, low and vulnerable now as well, but, you know, it only goes so far. The Cyclone locks on, but it's blocked by rocks. And this army kind of wants to come back in. Obviously wants to lift up that missile turret, sorry, the Widow Mine, I think, but the missile turret does zone. It's a fresh mule that gets taken down. Revelation on the main army as well. And Zest is doing... It feels like Zest has just evolved from games number 1 and 2 into game number 3. You know, it feels like Zest just went from being a very kind of aggressive sort of, kind of a very defensive sort of, oh my god, can't do anything right, my micro is not there, I'm losing units all over the place. It feels like something just, flicked the switch on in game number 2, and suddenly was like, wait a second, I'm gonna lose. And so he's just like, you know what? Boom, boom, boom. Master mode, and makes a great comeback in the second game to suddenly in game 3 just absolutely dominate. And really has just been making pretty much every right call so far, I'd say. But might as well look to zone the Phoenix, and the Siege Tank will go on top. I mean, that's sort of setting up. Hey, Cyclone's able to get a sentry, which is not a bad start either. But the force fields do get dropped down to try and zone this army out. A few Adepts on the left, 3 Adepts, obviously one shot in SCV, so that's looking to be the goal here. Out of Zest over on that side. Widow Mines do go off. Wow, I can't believe the Phoenix actually forgot the Widow Mines were there. That's a big mistake. The Phoenix go down. So Clem can actually keep making this attack happen. Bio still pressing forwards a little bit. Siege Tank fire going down on the rest of the army as well. A little bit more Bio coming up and joining up here. We'll be pushing in towards the 3rd base. Sentries in a little bit of trouble. A couple of them going down. 3 sentries going down. Widow Mines continue to go off, and that Stalker Immortal Force still pressing forwards. Widow Mines still just out the front and doing so much to zone this army away at the moment as well. As Bio will continue into this. Here he goes. Zard's going to charge in from the left-hand side, and another Oracle gets shot down pretty quickly. Still, this Bio Force is kind of crazy, like how much this Bio is getting done here. Here come the Disruptors, a way to zone this Bio army away. Is that supply block just from losing all the pylons on this front side? It's frustrating because there's only one Siege Tank, and that one Siege Tank has actually done so much more than you would ever hope it would. This Disruptor shot should at least aim for those Widow Mines. Unfortunately, it doesn't reach the second one. Hey, this Disruptor's in trouble. Where's the army to protect this? A couple of units from the top side. Zest is flanking around the bottom. I mean, he's going to be able to get rid of this Siege Tank pretty quickly. And he's going to keep fighting with the Stalkers here, but again, okay, 2 more Disruptors showing up. He really needs those to do something. The problem is he's just taken such a long time to rotate from this bottom side around the left, and that's what kind of cost him a little bit there before. He gets the Widow Mine with this Disruptor shot, and now he has another Disruptor shot available. I feel like he almost has to go for this, though. Because Clem is in a great position here up on the top side. Widow Mine still going off. The Liberators get shot down. Widow Mine still going off as well. 2 more Disruptors coming up. Tries to reach, doesn't get there. Bio army still trading. A couple of Adepts. Zealots dropping down as well. Another Adept getting cleaned out. And still this Stalker army pressing into this here. I mean, Zest is starting to just about put an end to this. But man, it's taken a lot of time and effort. And behind it all, Clem, 4th Command Center, about to finish building in location. You know, Zest hasn't even looked at his mini-map, kind of other side of the map so far. Never mind getting a unit over there. He hasn't had a chance. He's been fully focused on his own 3 bases, defending. And it looks as though Clem, that's a nice little Disruptor shot. Couple of units go down. That'll be another Marauder getting picked off there as well. Widow Mine doesn't connect just yet either. Another Disruptor going forwards, and still our Bio pressing into this here currently. Widow Mine's going off, firing away. More army coming up to the top side, and there's an extra few Stalkers and Zealots warp in. This Nexus is so low that if Clem doesn't kill this, it would be, more than anything, just a real shame for him. Clicks it down, and that will fall. And again, Zest, he's just really struggling with the ability of the Terran to go either the top side or back into the center, and he's really, again, the couple of times he's ran units around into this kind of flanking position, it's just not been worth the time invested to get the units there. And the units missing from the fight for that little bit of time has been so costly as well. Disruptor shot fires, disruptor shot misses, and that's going to be a disruptor shot. Now finally a disruptor shot that kills more than just a couple of units, and these disruptors are finally getting damage done. That one that just went off actually got cancelled. Next one misses, this one misses too. And there's enough disruptors to keep rallying kind of volleys in though, which means you should be able to keep the bio army away. It's going to be a nice few Marines picked off there. Zest is surviving on 34 army supply, now 40 against 92 of Clem. Clem taking an upgrade lead as well. There was no armor upgrades all this time from Zest, focusing on attack upgrades for the Stalkers this time, rather than the armor upgrades, which would do a lot to benefit the Zealots, etc. that we've seen before now. Bio down the bottom. Medevacs join up, plus 3 attack on the engineering bay, and advanced ballistics is coming in as well, so that's going to be coming down in the main base. Zealots out through the top side. Still got this, again, Disruptor Stalker army in the middle of the map as well. And Zest is really feeling as though he's in some trouble here at the moment. Clem's going to keep this momentum rolling. There's our bio army. Going up the left-hand side. Stalkers, Disruptors, a couple of Immortals. I mean, Clem coming in with the flank, of course. I mean, if you get surrounded, it's harder to get the Disruptors in the right places. Oh, blows up his own Stalker with the Disruptor. That's not how it's meant to go. I think at this point, Clem probably just commits in. At this point, you can probably just target down Disruptors as they fire. No, he's still dodging. Great control from Clem. GG from Zest. Wow, what a series out of Clem. I feel like he played this amazingly well, and he really performed and brought it home in this game number 3 to take the series 2-1.